Hi everybody, Danger Rock here. Today we're going to be looking at two Disney Store Woody plushes. If you all guys already watched my review of the Jessie plush, I also have the Woody here. They came out during the same year. So we're going to be taking a look at that one first, and I'm going to be comparing them to some other Woodies that I have. Taking a look at this one. As you can see, there's differences already. The face is very similar to this one right here, except this one, his mouth is open and you can see his teeth smiling a little bit more. And the hat is stitched onto his head. It's not removable at all. I do like the vest on this one a bit more. I really like his sheriff star and the material on it. And as you can see, his jeans are a completely different color than this one right here. Even though they look similar, they're also very different. As you can see, his holster just has like a printed on ruby right there. Here you could actually see it's like popping off of the seam of it, so that's really interesting. And another difference is at the bottom of his foot it says Andy. This one right here doesn't say that. This one is just like a beanbag plush. This one is just all plush. There's nothing inside there. But the bottom of his foot, it does look realistic. It actually looks like someone wrote their name on there, which I like that because it's a movie accurate detail that this one doesn't have. So looking at these two side by side, their faces are completely different. Also, their scarves are completely different as well. So even though they're both red and white, it kind of looks like they're using a different material for both of these. The belt on this one has a lot more detail. And the hands are about the same, except I think the one on the right here has bigger hands. Also, if we turn these guys around, you could also see that the proportions of their vests are actually completely different. Besides the one on the left being wider, this one kind of looks like it uses a completely different design. So that's really cool. The hats are pretty much the same. It looks like one is a darker color brown, but it's not too different. What's interesting about these is Disney Store changed their models and the way these things were made because it's a Disney original product. One thing I do like on the one on the left better is that his buttons here are actually popping out, even though the one on the right has them a little bit more detailed. They're just 3D printed. They're not actually sewn in there. And when you stand both of these guys up, looks like the one on the right is actually a little bit taller. Not by much, just a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is bring in Jessie. And the one thing that I like about these is that when you look at the bottom of both of their boots, they both say Andy. But that's not my favorite part about it, is that when we look at Woody's, you can see the N is backwards, and the D looks a lot different than the one here on Jessie's foot, which in the movie it makes a lot of sense because Andy got Woody first, but when he wrote his name at the bottom of the boot, he wrote it backwards because he was just a young kid. But in Toy Story 2, we see he's a little bit more grown up, so when he writes Andy at the bottom of Buzz Lightyear's foot, or Jessie's foot, he actually puts the N the right way. So I think it's interesting that for something that's supposed to be just a basic toy, they actually did get that detail. Now, of course, these plushies aren't movie size, but I like the face sculpt on the Jessie a lot more because to me this one looks like it just walked out of the movie. But they're actually not movie size, but they're perfectly in proportions. As you could see, Woody here is a lot taller than Jessie, which is movie accurate. But the face on this plush Woody is not movie accurate. But as far as the color of the vest and the jeans and the sheriff star and his belt and holster here, it's pretty darn close, except his boots would have been a plastic and not this plush thing we have right here. But it's fine with me. It's still pretty great detail. And another one I want to compare it to is right here. We have the Toy Factory Woody, which this one doesn't have as much detail as any of the ones over here. He doesn't have an actual belt. It's just sewn in there. He doesn't have his sheriff star or the holster on his boots at all. And his hat is plush. It's not hard. It's not removable. It's just attached to him. I just wanted to compare it to these guys because what's really interesting is this guy came out during the Toy Story and Beyond line, which I believe it was like 2003 to 2006. And it was made by Toy Factory here in San Antonio, Texas. So what's really interesting about this is that there was another version of this, which of course I don't have. It was a lot bigger, but it actually had a better vest, a better belt, and his sheriff star. But Toy Story and Beyond was a line for Hasbro, but this was made by Toy Factory, not Hasbro. But what I think is really cool is if you put the two of these next to each other, you could tell they're just completely different. Because with his face being all plush and the face of this one being like a hard plastic, that makes it really unique for me. And another one I wanted to compare it to is this is like one of those newer plush Woodies. Of course, he lacks a lot of detail, but if we look at his star, it actually says sheriff on it, which none of the other three right here have, so that's really interesting. And my favorite part about him is that he's got a pull string right here, so when you pull it...
You're my favorite deputy. Reach for the sky. What are you doing out here? Hang on, little guy. You're my favorite deputy. Reach for the sky. Whoa! Whoa! Operation Pull Toy. What are you doing out here? Reach for the sky.
So what's cool about him is he talks. It's not just a printed on pull string. You could actually pull it. What I like about it is that there are some Toy Story 1 phrases in there, but for the most part, he says a bunch of Toy Story 4 stuff, which makes me believe that this guy came out during the release of Toy Story 4. You could buy this at Walmart or something. But I do like it for what it is. He doesn't have Andy written at the bottom of his foot right here. He's not as highly detailed, but it's not bad, really. It's nice if you're just going to display a whole bunch of Woody dolls and you put these right next to it. Unless you have them like on a doll stand or something. If you have them all standing up next to each other, it's going to start to look like an army. So that's really cool. This has been my review of the Disney Store Woody plush. If you like this video, please leave a like. Please subscribe for more Toy Story reviews. And once we reach 500 subscribers on this channel, I will be doing a Toy Story collection video, so definitely stay tuned for that. I want to thank everybody for watching as always, and I'll see you guys on the next video review.